Hi, my name's Hannah. I'm a tutor at Sky Academy. We are looking at the topic of financial maths within the Year 11 standard course, and we're looking at interest and depreciation, which is MSS2. So we're having a look at loan repayments. So a loan repayment is where you borrow money, for example, from the bank, and you need to pay back this loan plus the interest that was earned on this loan. So you're repaying this amount of money, but you're repaying it over a period of time. So if you're paying it over a period of 2 years and you're paying it off monthly, then you're going to have a total of 24 repayments. And so if we have a look at this blue box, if you divide the total to be paid by the number of repayments, you'll get the repayment for 1, which is a loan repayment. So that's the amount it will cost for 1 repayment, and you'll have to do those repayments over time according to your time period. So it's just, instead of paying off the loan in one big chunk, you're paying it over a couple of years with equal repayments each time. So if you had a look at our previous video, we talked about calculating the total to be paid. So we looked at the simple interest formula, which is I equals PRN. And once we calculated our interest, we were then able to calculate the total to be paid, which is A equals P plus I. So we're going to use the simple interest formula to calculate the total to be paid. Then we're going to determine how many repayments in total there will be. We're going to divide the two, and we're going to calculate the loan repayment, or the cost for 1 repayment. So let's have a look at an example. So here we have a question from the Cambridge Maths textbook, and it says, Jessica wishes to buy a lounge suite priced at $2,750. She chooses to buy it on terms by paying a 10% deposit and borrowing the balance. Interest is charged at 11.5% per annum on the amount borrowed. Jessica makes fortnightly repayments over 3 years. So fortnightly over 3 years. Calculate her fortnightly repayments. So there's a lot going on in this question, so let's go through and talk about what it means. So she's buying a lounge at a price of $2,750. And she's going to pay out of her own pocket a 10% deposit. And whatever is left over that she still has to pay, she's going to borrow that amount. So she's going to pay a 10 deposit herself, and then whatever's left, she's going to borrow that amount. And on the amount that she borrows, it's going to cost 11.5% interest. And then she's going to make fortnightly repayments over 3 years. So firstly, what we're going to do is find the deposit and subtract it from this amount to figure out how much she's going to borrow. So step 1 is going to be the deposit. Let's find our deposit. And it says our deposit is 10% of the price. So if we do 2,750 times 10%, that's going to give us the amount that she is going to pay. So by herself, she's going to pay $275. So now we found our deposit, we need to figure out how much she's going to borrow. So she's going to borrow the cost of the lounge minus what she's going to pay. So this is going to be what's left over. So she pays $275, and whatever is left over that she hasn't paid, she's going to borrow. And when you find the amount borrowed, it's going to come towards $2,475. So that's how much she's going to have to repay, and that's how much is going to get interest as well. So now we're going to do I equals PRN to find the interest that she'll pay on the amount that she borrows. So interest is going to be our principal, which is the amount she borrowed, times our rate, which is 11.5%, times our years, which is 3 years. And that's going to give us our interest. And when you put it into your calculator, you should get an answer of $853.875. So now we found the deposit, we found how much she's going to borrow, and we found how much the interest will come to. So now we have to figure out the total to be repaid. And that's by doing A equals I plus P. And so A is going to equal our interest, 853.875, plus the principal, which was the amount borrowed, so 2,475. And when you put that into your calculator, you should get an answer of 3,328.875. So that's how much in total she's going to have to repay. But she's not repaying this in one big chunk. She's going to repay it fortnightly over 3 years. So our last step is going to figure out how much she has to pay each fortnight. So for one fortnightly repayment, that's what we have to find. And if you remember from the previous slide, we just have to divide the total to be paid, which is our A, by the fortnightly repayments. And so we're going to do 3,328.875 divided by the fortnightly repayments. So she's repaying it over 3 years. And we have to figure out how many fortnights are in 1 year to figure out how many fortnights would be over 3 years. So fortnightly is just every 2 weeks. And so if there's 52 weeks in a year, we can divide that by 2 weeks to figure out how many fortnights are in a year, and it comes to 26. So if we do 3 times 26, it will give us how many repayments she'll have to pay over 3 years. So 26 for 1 year, or 3 times 26 for 3 years. And when you divide that, you should get the answer of $42.68. And that's going to be her fortnightly repayment. So every 2 weeks, she's going to pay $42.68 back to the lounge company, and she's going to do this for 3 years to pay off her lounge. So that's how you do loan repayments. You're simply calculating the total to be paid, and once you've found the total to be paid, you are then going to divide by the number of repayments. So if it's monthly, then that's 12 months in 1 year. If it's fortnightly, it's 26 fortnights in 1 year.